IMDG code 315, the second volume, but it is also referred to in part 7 as well. But all the groups and the items in the group, all the dangerous goods, are given in much detail in 314. Where can you find the index in the IMDG code? Yeah, the answer is correct. We can find it in volume 2, after the dangerous goods list, you know, we have annexes, Annex A, Annex B, and then finally we come to the index, alphabetical index. Where can you find the dangerous goods list in the code? Very easy questions, right? Yes, yes, correct. Volume 2. In volume 2, we can find the DGL in 3.2. How many parts are there to the IMDG code? 7. Bravo. Bravo. 7 parts. Bravo. How many classes of dangerous goods are there? 9. Bravo. We can find it in the 2011 IMDG code volume 1 classification. Which part of the IMDG code gives guidance on the use of packing of dangerous goods? Use of packing. Yes, part 4. Great. Volume 2, Appendix B contains a list of generic entries in each class, an alphabetic list of proper shipping names, a glossary of terms. Bravo. A glossary of terms. It's mostly about the explosives, articles and substances in class 1. Where can you find recommendations on the safe use of pesticides in the IMDG code? Captain Ofelan was instructing that. Where? Bravo. The supplement. All right. Where are the tank provisions found in the code? Provisions, tank provisions. Great. Who is responsible for filling in the container packing certificate? The stevedore company loading the cargo on the vessel, the person responsible for packing the container, the shipper. Which one? Who says, it's all A's, sorry. Who says the second, B? Who says B? Yes, it's correct. The person might change. The person might be a company, a loading company, a logistics company doing that for the shipper. Or the shipper, the owner of the goods, could do that with his own personnel, so it could change. The answer is the person responsible for packing the container, who it is, will fill in and sign it, okay? In which part of the IMDG code are the requirements regarding the segregation of packages found? Bravo. 722, okay? We can find the segregation provisions. The code may specify storage location as, of course, there is no under deck only, it's not applicable. We haven't seen any packaged only, so the goods could be on deck only. Yeah, that's a valid term. Yeah, We can find it in the IMDG code subsection 7132. Write the references as well, so that you will work on it later, if you need to. 13. The responsibility for marking the locations of all dangerous goods on a stowage plan lies with the shipper, the terminal operator, the ship. Yeah, it's the ship, correct. It's, the reference is, just have a note if you need to. The reference you can find in the IMDG code subsection 5431 and 1121 regulation 4 in Solus. 14. Class 3 dangerous goods are classed as 3 subdivisions. How many subdivisions are there to class 3? No subdivisions. As we have seen in the port, it's an old time, before 2000s, I guess. Now it's only, it has no subdivision. The IMDG code volume 1, subsection 2011 is the reference. 15. Substances in the dangerous goods list are listed alphabetically. True or false? Bravo, it's false. How are they listed? According to the increasing UN numbers, from small to big, okay? False. Class 2 goods are split into 2 divisions. True or false? False. How many divisions? 3 divisions. Yes, great. It's also in the IMDG code volume 1. The reference is 2011. 17. Flammable solids are split into 3 divisions. True or false? Did you see the classification in 2011? You will see there. Yes. How many says true? Rob says true. He gets the true. Okay, it's true, of course, you know that. The IMDG code volume 1, 2011, all the classification and the divisions are given there, you know. If you open volume 1, you will see the names of the division classes and the divisions. 18. A package is marked with UN 1993. Yesterday we saw it. Flammable liquid NOS. Is this correct?
Yes. Yes, correct.
Is there something missing?
Technical.
Brown. Brown. Yes. A technical name is missing. Great. The reference is IMDG code. Get the reference from here. Volume 2, 3128, subsection C, also special provision 274. It says that every NOS name should have a technical name. 19. How often is the IMDG code updated? Every 2 years. Now, new volumes are published every 2 years. 20. What does the abbreviation EMS guide stand for? Did you check with the supplement? Yes? Can you read it to me? Yes. Emergency response procedures. Thank you very much, by the way. Emergency response procedures for ships carrying dangerous goods. 21. What does the abbreviation MFAG or MFAG stand for? Bravo. Medical First Aid Guide. 22. In the context of the IMDG code, what does the abbreviation IBC stand for? Bravo, yes. Intermediate bulk container. Reference IMDG code definitions, you remember? 121. 23. How is a subsidiary risk indicated on packaged dangerous goods? Once more, please. Yeah. How do we, in column 4, we see the subsidiary risk in the dangerous goods list, column 4. It is also stated as a class number, and we indicate it on the package with a label. Okay, near the first additional label or placard. The reference is the IMDG code. For the labels, the reference is 52212. For the cargo transport units, the reference is 53113. Okay? 24. Which dangerous goods class has 6 divisions? Bravo. Explosives. Class 1, reference IMDG code, subsection 2114. 25. Where in the code can an alphabetical list of proper shipping names be found? Index, we already did that. Volume 2, index. 26. Which class covers radioactive material? Class 7, thank you. Reference IMDG code 27. You know, 2 is the part, 7 is the class. It's always like that. 26 is class 6, toxics. 2 is the classification part. We always check like that. 27. The substance UN 1219, isopropanol, class 3, PG2, packing group 2, is going to be packed in a package marked with UN logo 4G Z20S04S SP and the code of the producer. What is the maximum weight for a package?
No. This packet not matching.
What happens here? There is something wrong, right? What is not matching?
Packet.
Yeah, it states that packing group is 2, but what do we see over there as the letter Z? Z, as you have stated, is not correct. It's not matching. There is something wrong. And this is how it's a liaison between the sender and the receiver. If there is something wrong, they can just question it and may not accept it. PG2 is not allowed in packages marked Z. Reference IMDG code 6131, paragraph 6131. Where would information be found for the treatment of chemical burns? Yeah, MFAG or MFAG, IMDG code supplement, table 8 and appendix 8. 29. Who should be notified if dangerous chemicals are lost overboard?
Master.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
The authorities of the nearest coastal state. Reference IMDG code supplement reporting procedures. 30. In the case of a gas fire involving cylinders, what action is recommended? Where can we find that?
FD. Supplement.
Yes. Where in the supplement?
FD.
Yes, EMS guide. And if we check the EMS guide, Where do we find it? Did you navigate in the EMS? There are different tables. Did you find the gas, flammable gas part? Which Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Hotel, which part is that?
Data.
Yeah, correct. Keep tanks cool with copious amounts of water, it states. Reference, IMDG code, supplement, EMS, fire. Also in the fire precautions part we see 10.2.2, and also it is referred to FD for fire. Table D for fire. For which? For flammable gases. Yes. Rob, would you like to continue?
Just go ahead. This goes perfect.
Okay.
But I'll
Which publication should be consulted with regard to securing in cargo transport units? Is that okay with your results? IMO, ILO, UNEC guidelines for packing of CTUs, revised at CTU code. Correct. 32. Using the segregation table for freight containers, onboard container ships. Perhaps Captain will show you, help you with this. What are the segregation requirements both vertically and horizontally, both fore and aft and afterwards, outward ships, for open versus open containers required to be stowed away from each other and to be stowed on deck? Where do we go? We have the criteria here, right? Which is the criteria? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one is the criteria away from? Yes, 1. What type of containers we have? Open, open. Okay? What does the question want us to do? Containers required to be stored on board container ships. So, where shall we go to find the criteria away from for the container ships? Which part was that? Do you remember? It is already given here. You see, section 7432. The table is for container ships. Open that table, please. I will just lead you to on that. Seven, 4, 3, 2. Did you find the table? Yeah, container ships. Our criteria is away from criteria 1, okay? Take it and extrapolate on deck, under deck, vertical, to the open containers. Perhaps I should find it also here, but you can check on the table, right? Captain Rob will show you. We find the table 7432. We get the first criteria away from, and you go to the vertical and on deck. I will tell from here. Let's see. That is the table. We take 1 because away from is 1. We go. If we go vertically, what do we see?
Not in the same vertical line unless segregated by deck.
Away from, extrapolated to vertical, you see that not on the same line. And then we continue extrapolating it to open versus open. Here it is. And you see there on deck, under deck. Let's check for on deck. If on deck, one container space. If under deck, read this.
One container space or one bulkhead.
Bulkhead. If under deck, okay? Did we find the related line? And then also you have one container space on deck, athwart ships. You see? Fore and aft, we found for open versus open. On deck, one container space. Under deck, one container space or one bulkhead. Just under it, for athwart ships, you can find that for open versus open. Are we on the same page? Do you follow? I hope you can. For on deck, we see one container space again, and for under deck, again, one container space. The last two columns, and on top, you extrapolate the criteria 1. Is it okay? This is for container ships, and it is, of course, as I have told some of us, it is impossible to do manually. They are all computer programs. Thousands of containers, and most probably 10 or 15% being dangerous goods. That would be too much to do it manually. Programs for each specific ship. Okay. Though you can do the segregation for solid bulk cargo ships, it's possible to do it manually because the holds are in small number. And also for the general cargo ships, it might be possible to do it manually. So the answer is, you can see here, vertical, not in the same vertical line unless segregated by a deck. Horizontal, fore and aft, one container space. Athwart ships, one container space. For open versus open. Do you have anything to add, Captain? I'm passing to 33.
The main thing is that it makes clear that you prefer not to have open containers with dangerous goods. Preferably not, but sometimes you have to.
Thank you. 33, using the table the same, a similar one, using the table of segregation of cargo transport units on board RoRo ships this time, IMDG Code Volume 1, Section 7532. What are the segregation requirements, both fore and aft and athwart ships? Find the table first. Open versus open transport units. This time it could be trailers or trucks, required to be separated longitudinally by an intervening complete compartment or hold from. Which criteria was that? Do you remember? To be stowed on deck. Separated longitudinally by an intervening complete compartment or hold from. Was it the third or the fourth? The criteria. You will see in 7.6, it originates from the general cargo ships, remember. So, it is the fourth criteria. Do you want to see the origin of that? It is 7.6. You go to 7.6, general cargo ships, you will see the four criteria. Separated longitudinally by an intervening complete compartment or hold from is the fourth criteria. So we will go to the table 7532 and then we find fore and aft at least 48 meters. Did you find that on that table? And outward ships prohibited. Prohibited. Okay. It's prohibited because the beam of the ship is not enough for sometimes for 48 meters. That's why. 34. Using the segregation table, IMDG code volume 1, 724. What are the segregation provisions between goods of classes 4, 3 and 3? I'm waiting. Did you check with the table? Yeah, just check and tell me. I don't remember it at the moment. Say yeah. Separated from. Okay. Bravo. You find criteria 2, but you know it's not enough. If you want to do the segregation, it's not enough. What would you do after that? Where would you go if there's another? But separated from is already the highest criteria between segregation codes. So if you find it separated from, it might be enough. Great. What are the segregation provisions this time for classes 5-1 and 1-1? Great. Criteria 4, because you know one is oxidizing, the other is, one is oxidizing, the other one is what? 1-1. What is 1-1? Class 1-1? Explosives, and also the most dangerous of the explosives because mass explosion occurs. And class 5-1 yields oxygen. So it's they are really, really very dangerous together. 36. Using the portable tank instruction, table T50. T50 is for gases. IMDG code volume 1, section 42526. We should go to volume 1. What is the requirement as regard openings below liquid level? You remember we did talk about the openings, if they are allowed or not for tanks. You go to that table for gas